The Mental Game, Episode 3. Let's talk about commitment. Once you decide what you're going to do, you need to commit to that 100%. Nothing is going to get you into more trouble out there than being caught in between two different decisions. If you're going to go hyzer, you need to throw that hyzer, pick the right disc. Once you decide that, you need to go for it. Because if you try to kind of give it half of one thing and half of another, the outcome is not going to be very good. You see this off of the tee, you definitely see it on approach, especially like risky approaches and stuff like that. But for the most part, when I talk about commitment and I think about this concept, it mostly applies to putting. And it mostly applies to putting in dangerous situations. Maybe you have a slope, maybe the basket is raised, maybe there's out of bounds behind the basket. So let's talk about a scenario. Let's say we're 25 feet from the basket and 5 feet behind the basket is water. Doesn't happen too often, but this is the scenario we're talking about. Once you decide that you're going to run that putt, you need to take the water out of your mind and you need to focus on executing that putt like it's any other 25-footer. You need to go for it 100% and be confident in your attempt. If you look at it and you're not feeling confident and you decide to lay up, you need to lay up 100%. Don't give it kind of a half a go, because that's never going to be a good thing. Now, occasionally you'll be out there in a big wide open shot and you're looking at a 50-footer or something like that. You want to give it half a go. Maybe it'll go in, but try to leave it short if it doesn't go in, or leave it close if it doesn't go in. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if you have danger behind the basket and there are negative consequences to missing that shot, if you're going to go for it, you need to go for it. You cannot be thinking about that water behind the basket, especially not when you're going through your routine, and certainly not when you're right about to release the disc. If the last thing you think about is that water, you're probably going to end up in it, and you're very unlikely to make that putt. If you're caught in between two different decisions, you're probably better off going with the safer decision. Because if you're not 100% confident in going for that shot that could get you into trouble, you shouldn't go for it, because you're very likely to miss it, and you're also very likely to experience those negative consequences of missing that shot if you're not 100% committed and 100% confident in going for it. So, if you're going to lay up, lay up. Keep it short. You don't want to hit the pole on a layup generally, because the pole can do funny things to your putter. Maybe it'll make it stand up and roll, something like that. Lay it up 3-4 feet short, somewhere where you know it's easily tapped in from there. You don't bring that pole or the lock or the collar for the basket or any of that stuff into play that could affect the disc and cause it to stand up or roll or anything wacky. And if you're going to go for it, clear your mind, focus on those chains. Do not think about the negative consequences when you're going through your routine. And if you're going through your routine and all of a sudden the water pops into your head, I recommend step back, take a deep breath, reapproach the lie, and then go back into your full routine from there and execute that shot. That's my advice for today. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll check you all later. Cheers.